The Philippines is a truly unique country. It is not one single landmass. Instead, it is an archipelago. This means it is made up of many islands. Imagine for a moment over 7,000 islands scattered across the western Pacific Ocean. Some are very large like Luzon and Mindanao. Many others are tiny, sometimes just small enough for a few homes or even uninhabited. This vast collection of islands gives the country an incredibly long coastline. This coastline is a vital feature, influencing life and history in countless ways. The sea is never far away from most Filipinos, shaping their diet, their livelihood, and their connection to the wider world. This island nature is the very first thing one must understand about the Philippines. The climate here is distinctly tropical. Most days are warm and humid. There are generally two main seasons, the rainy season and the dry season. The rains can be very heavy, especially during the monsoon. This abundance of rain helps the lush vegetation grow. However, the Philippines also lies within the typhoon belt. This means powerful storms, known locally as bagyo, can visit the islands. These typhoons bring strong winds and torrential rain. They can cause significant damage, but are a recurring part of life. People have learned to adapt to this weather pattern over centuries, building resilient communities and understanding the signs of nature. The islands are blessed with a wealth of natural resources. The soil in many areas is very fertile. This allows for the cultivation of important crops like rice, coconuts, and sugarcane. Underneath the ground there are valuable mineral deposits. These include gold, copper, nickel, and chromite. The seas surrounding the islands are also rich. They teem with diverse marine life, providing food and income for many coastal communities. These resources have always been important. They sustained early settlements and later attracted traders and colonizers from distant lands. The management and sharing of these resources remain a key topic today. Finally, the location of the Philippines is very significant. It sits in Southeast Asia, at a crossroads of sorts. To its north is Taiwan, to its west is Vietnam, across the South China Sea, to the south are Indonesia and Malaysia. This strategic position has made it a meeting point for different cultures and influences throughout history. It was a natural stop for ancient maritime trade routes. This accessibility played a crucial role in how the country developed. It exposed the islands to various peoples and ideas, shaping its complex cultural tapestry. This geographical placement continues to define its regional importance. The very formation of the Philippines as an archipelago played a huge role in its cultural development. Imagine each island or group of islands as a somewhat separate world. For early communities, travel between distant islands was not always easy. Boats were the primary means, but journeys could be long and sometimes dangerous. This relative isolation allowed unique cultural traits to emerge in different places. People developed their own ways of doing things, their own beliefs, and their own social structures. This geographical fragmentation was a powerful force in creating a mosaic of cultures rather than a single uniform one across all the islands. Because of this separation, a stunning diversity of languages and dialects blossomed. It is said that there are over 180 distinct languages spoken in the Philippines today. Many of these languages belong to the Austronesian language family, but they evolved differently due to limited interaction between various groups. Alongside language, traditions also varied greatly. What was customary in a coastal village in the Visayas might be very different from the practices of a mountain community in Luzon. This rich tapestry of local customs, from ritual practices to artistic expressions, is a direct result of the islands fostering independent development for centuries. The specific environment of each island or region also shaped the lifestyles of its inhabitants. Coastal communities naturally became skilled seafarers and fishermen. Their lives revolved around the sea, its bounty, and its moods. In mountainous areas, people adapted to the rugged terrain. They developed terraced farming, like the famous Banawe rice terraces, to grow crops on steep slopes. Lowland plains with their fertile soil became centers of agriculture. This adaptation to diverse local geographies meant that various groups developed specialized skills and knowledge suited to their particular surroundings, further enriching the cultural landscape. These early communities relied heavily on the natural resources available in their immediate vicinity. For instance, those living near dense forests utilized timber for building homes and boats, and hunted forest animals for food. Communities near rich fishing grounds developed sophisticated fishing techniques. Those in areas with fertile land cultivated crops that thrived locally. This intimate connection with their environment and its resources not only sustained them, but also became deeply embedded in their culture, their stories, and their spiritual beliefs. The abundance of nature supported these distinct societies, allowing them to flourish independently before greater interaction began. The strategic location of the Philippine archipelago was like a magnet for traders long before European colonizers arrived. Situated along major maritime pathways, the islands became a natural stopover and trading post. Chinese merchants, for example, were already engaging in commerce with the islands centuries before the Spanish came. They brought silk, porcelain, and other goods, exchanging them for local products like pearls, beeswax, and medicinal plants. Arab traders and those from neighboring Southeast Asian kingdoms also frequented Philippine shores. This early trade was a vibrant exchange, bringing not just goods but also new ideas and cultural influences. This bustling trade activity naturally led to significant cultural exchange. New technologies, different belief systems, and varied customs were introduced to the local populations. For instance, Islam arrived in the southern Philippines through these trade networks, particularly from Borneo and Malaysia, taking root long before Christianity. The intermingling of different peoples through commerce enriched the existing cultures. It created a dynamic environment where local traditions blended with foreign influences, contributing to the unique identity of various communities. This period of pre-colonial interaction highlights the island's role as a melting pot, facilitated by its accessible shores and prime location. Eventually, this very same strategic importance and the allure of resources attracted European powers. In the 16th century, Ferdinand Magellan, sailing for Spain, landed in the islands. This marked the beginning of a long period of Spanish colonization. The Spanish were drawn by the prospect of controlling the lucrative spice trade, finding new territories for their crown, and spreading Christianity. The Philippines' location offered a valuable base in Asia, a stepping stone to China and the Spice Islands. The existing trade networks, while beneficial to locals, also inadvertently paved the way for colonizers who saw the potential for exploitation and control. The geography initially made some aspects of colonization easier for the Spanish. Many early settlements were located along the coasts, making them relatively accessible to Spanish ships. They could establish forts and administrative centers in these coastal areas, such as Manila, which had a strategic harbor. From these coastal footholds, they gradually attempted to extend their influence inland. The interconnectedness of some island groups via sea lanes also, at times, helped the Spanish move troops and supplies. However, this same geography would soon present formidable challenges to their complete and lasting control over the entire archipelago. While coastal accessibility aided initial colonial efforts, the Philippines' archipelagic nature and rugged terrain made complete control incredibly challenging for the Spanish, and later, the Americans. The sheer number of islands, many separated by significant stretches of water, meant that ruling from a central point like Manila was difficult. Rebellions and resistance could flare up in one region, while another remained relatively calm. It was a constant struggle for the colonizers to project their power effectively across such a fragmented territory. This inherent divisiveness, a gift of geography, played a key role in the long and arduous path to independence. The mountainous interiors and dense forests of many islands served as natural fortresses for those who resisted colonial rule. Indigenous groups and Filipino revolutionaries could retreat into these inaccessible areas, launching guerrilla warfare tactics that frustrated the better-equipped colonial armies. It was hard for foreign soldiers, unfamiliar with the local terrain, to effectively pursue and subdue these resistance movements. This geographic advantage allowed pockets of autonomy and resistance to persist throughout the colonial period. The landscape itself became an ally to those fighting for freedom, a testament to how geography can shape the course of conflict and preserve cultural identity against overwhelming odds. Today, the geography of the Philippines continues to profoundly affect the country. The separation of islands can complicate national unity and governance. It poses logistical challenges for infrastructure development, like building roads and bridges to connect disparate communities. This can sometimes lead to uneven economic development, with some regions feeling more isolated or less supported than others. Regionalism, a strong sense of local identity tied to specific islands or provinces, remains a significant aspect of Philippine politics and society. This is a direct legacy of how the islands fostered distinct communities for centuries. In conclusion, the physical geography of the Philippines, its thousands of islands, its tropical climate, its abundant resources, and its strategic location, has been a dominant force throughout its history. It shaped diverse cultures, attracted traders and colonizers, and presented both opportunities and immense challenges for governance and unity. From the formation of early, distinct communities to the complexities of modern nation-building, the archipelago's unique layout continues to influence the nation's politics, economy, and the very identity of the Filipino people. The story of the Philippines is inextricably linked to the story of its land and seas, a narrative still unfolding today,